The baseball season is over. So the Red Sox and Yankees get back to work today as the postseason begins. Yankees working out, that is just coming to a close as we speak. Red Sox getting ready to take the field for their own batting practice. We've got live coverage as we get ready for the latest chapter in the greatest rivalry in sports. Welcome to a special edition of the Ultimate Red Sox Show. We're bringing you live coverage of the Red Sox workouts. Cora will be sitting down to talk to the media in about 10 minutes. We'll bring you that live. You'll also hear from Garrett Crochet, Max Fried. What a Game 1 matchup we've got. Tom Karen with you, Lenny DiNardo, JP Ricciardi. Red Sox getting ready for the playoffs for the first time in 4 years. Doesn't get better than that.
You know, with all the talk about where the Red Sox were going, at the end of the day, this is where you want to be. All is right in the world. Yankees, Red Sox, postseason. This is where it should be when it comes down to it.
Pretty exciting. I mean, it's amazing when you think about the guys that are going to face each other. You think about the storied tradition. What could you ask for?
You know, it's crazy. We're at the winter meetings in 3 consecutive days. There were massive deals. The first one was Juan Soto. That didn't work out. Max Fried the next day, signed by the New York Yankees. And the next day, the Red Sox trade for Garrett Crochet. Like, everyone loaded up. You went for starting pitching. The Yankees went first. You went second. It worked out because those guys are on the mound tomorrow.
Oh, so you're saying going out and getting a big name, a guy that can go out and post every 5 days and go out and guarantee you just about a victory, it's important.
And that's a great point, isn't it? For all our talk about how bullpens win playoffs, and they do in a lot of ways, but for Game 1 in a best-of-3 series, give me a guy who might give you 7 innings and shut them down.
And not only that, TC, but if you think about it, when you've got that ace and you play a 7-game series, you can run him out there 3 times. So just like Lenny said, this is why you go out and get these guys, huge difference makers.
All right, we kind of chuckled yesterday when the tentative schedule came out. It said one American League game will be at 1 o'clock, one will be at 6 o'clock. You said Red Sox Yankees? There's no way that's going to happen at 1 o'clock. So sure enough, they've got the 6 o'clock games. Dodgers get the prime time for the West Coast. You understand that? So a lot of people are like, well, why isn't this the prime time game? Well, the Dodgers are out on the West Coast, but they're moving the Padres to the afternoon game to clear the deck for Red Sox Yankees. The games are all on ESPN. We will have pre- and post-game coverage on NESN, on the NESN 360 app, 5 o'clock each night, right after the final out each night. Now, Game 3, the time may change if they have to play that game based on how many other games are still going on to Game 3. These two teams met, as you know, 13 times this season. Red Sox 9-4 against the Yankees. But it's a different Yankee team. This team over the last 2 months has been the best in baseball.
Yeah, and you know, they're playing at home, and that's an advantage for them. The crowd is going to be what it is, and it's going to be the same way if they were playing in Boston. So I think there is an advantage for the Yankees as far as playing at home. And like you said, they've played really good baseball as of late.
Yeah, and as of late, though, you know, the last 500 team or better that they faced was actually the Red Sox back on 9/14. So they've been facing some teams that aren't as good as the squad they're about to face tomorrow. So hopefully the Red Sox can go out there and take advantage of that. You know, they're just not the same.
They did take 2 out of 3 against the Red Sox in that series that began this run. I mean, their record going back to August 8th is 25-8. They've only lost 8 games in that stretch. Half of those losses were against the Red Sox. Sox took 3 out of 4 in August down in New York. Yankees took 2 out of 3 at Fenway Park in Boston. You saw Aroldis Chapman out there, the former Yankee, going back to the Bronx. Here are the numbers from the regular season. And the number that tells you everything you need to know, it's the Red Sox outscoring the Yankees by 15 runs over 13 games. So it averages out to basically a 1-run game every single time.
Yeah, you look at Crochet starts, he had 4 of them this year. The Red Sox were averaging 7.5. You have Garrett Crochet on the mound, and you give him 7-8 runs per game. Come on, you're coasting.
Think they're
right
scoring
there.
7 or 8 against Max Fried?
They average that
they weren't
every
facing
Crochet.
Max Fried every Crochet start.
They scored 30 runs in those 4 starts.
Yeah,
You never know.
Yeah, Max Fried, I'm pretty sure devastating.
It would.
She'd get
I don't think that's what the Yankees. That's why they went out and got Max Fried.
Max Fried had a 1 Sox this season. So for all the talk about Crochet, they feel just as comfortable with their guy.
And if you look at it, they're, I think, second in baseball, the Yankees, in runs scored overall. So it's a team that can put a lot of runs up in a hurry. And you got a starter like that, it just builds so much confidence in that lineup.
For me, though, it's a different way of doing it. I love watching the Red Sox when they pass the baton, but you have a certain number of guys in that Yankees lineup that are big boppers, right? You have a lot of guys that can hit home runs. But if you can keep them in the ballpark in a 3-game series, you have a shot of going out there and at least taking Game 1 and the next two games,
And
right? You can see what happens.
it sounds cliche, right? But good pitching shuts down good hitting. And in a short series, there's no guarantee that those big boppers are going to all play out. Over 162, it comes to fruition. In a short series, if you get good starting pitching, you can nullify those guys.
But home runs win playoff games.
Yeah.
The team that out-homers its opponent in the postseason over the last 4 years, 95-20, which is incredible. They have 7 guys who could be in a lineup who have 20 or more home runs. So it's not just pitching around Judge. It's being very careful. Crochet's home runs are up over the last month. Is that a concern tomorrow?
It is. It is. And, you know, if you look at the home runs, if you go back to the tape, the home runs aren't pitched on the corner. These are mistake pitches. They're left, right, down the middle. I don't care if you're throwing 98. Big league hitters, especially Yankee hitters, this is what they do. They go out there and hit the ball a long way. You got to be able to hit your spots. That comes down to it.
And you know this, Lenny. Yankee Stadium now is not what Yankee Stadium was 10 years ago, where you loaded up with left-handers to take advantage of that short porch. It's even shorter now, and right-handed hitters have come into play. I got to believe Judge gets a lot of home runs going right field. So it doesn't matter what hitter you have up there. That right field comes into play.
Judge can hit it out on a check swing, okay? I mean, that's how close that porch is. Listen, this is the first time the Red Sox are in the postseason under the new playoff format. It's a best-of-3 wildcard series, 3 consecutive nights if they need them, all in one place, all in Yankee Stadium. But here's a stunning stat. Since they went to this format, 8 out of 12 series have been won by the road team. You would think it's a massive home field advantage. Hasn't been the case. The winner of Game 1 has won every single series, 10 of those in 2-game sweeps. You've got Crochet on the mound tomorrow for a chance to win, and history shows you win Game 1, you're going to win the series.
That's why Crochet's on the mound. That's why Max Fried's on the mound. Everybody has this information. They're putting their best foot forward, saying, listen, we need to take Game 1 if you're going to go out and win this series.
Short series, right? You got to get the first one. A lot easier to split the next 2. But like you said, it's exactly why they went and got Crochet, and it's exactly why the Yankees went and got Fried.
Yankees went to the World Series last year. Red Sox don't have a playoff experience. Alex Bregman's experience, I think you go down to 15 next for Nathaniel Lowe. And then after that, 5 for Story, 1 for Refsnyder. That's it. How much does experience play into a series like this?
I think sometimes ignorance is bliss. You know, I think sometimes when you wake guys up, sometimes they panic a little bit. But I think it's just to go in there and just say, hey, guys, just be yourself, play, have fun. And you got some young guys here. They might just be oblivious to what's going on.
And it's nice to have a guy like Bregman who just knows nothing other than playoff experience to talk to these guys. I say, listen, this is just another game. If everybody goes out there and is just kind of blind to, okay, all right, what are we doing? What are we stepping into right now? Bregman can be that calming voice in the clubhouse. Say, listen, guys, I've been here. I've won it all. Follow me. Let's go out there and take a W.
One guy to keep an eye on, we're going to talk more about later, Trevor Story, 4 for 16 with 2 home runs against Max Fried. He's a good matchup, and you talk about a leader. These are the guys they're going to be leaning on. We're going to hear from Garrett Crochet in a little bit when he sits down to talk to the media. Alex Cora is just about to sit down and speak at the podium. You see it there. We're going to go to it live as soon as he sits down. No big surprise about the pitcher tomorrow. He said it before the game yesterday when everybody was asking, you don't know who you're going to play. He goes, no, but we know 2 things. We're getting on a plane, and Garrett Crochet starting Game 1. You know, so they waited. They knew by the end of the game yesterday. Toronto went all in. They pitched Gosman yesterday, and it paid off, but that's rolling the dice.
100%, but I think also it was meaningful for Toronto because to get that #1 spot, give you guys a little bit of rest. But if I'm Alex Cora and I'm flying to New York, I'm feeling really good knowing that that's my guy I'm sending to the mound.
And they've had success, as we said. 9-4 against the Yankees this season. Alex Cora sitting down. Let's join the press conference live from New York.
Hey, Alex, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Last time you guys faced Fried, I think it was 8 righties and 1 switch hitter. Will you go that deep into the platoon tomorrow? How much have you thought about?
No, JD's playing left tomorrow.
He's playing left. But...
Alex, how important did you feel getting Garrett Crochet, was to you guys to have that ace at the top of the rotation and, a guy who could kind of tie it together?
I mean, it's very important, right? Having an ace, and we had aces before, right? With Chris, and, we had plenty of aces in 18. Nate became an ace after that, and, it's like I said during the season, he was a guy that he continued the winning streak and he stopped the losing streak, right? And the other guys did an amazing job too throughout the season. They were really good. Bello, Giolito, right? They got the ball every 5 days and they pitched well. But having that guy at the top of the line, the rotation just sets the tempo for the rest of the week, and that's what he does.
Some of your guys were saying he within the clubhouse, he's become a pretty big voice, and was that something you expected, or when you heard it, when you
he has such a big voice that he changed we were traveling comfortable here, and he decided to go business casual. He sent the text, so he overruled the manager. Now since spring training, I noticed it. I remember one day, Weiser, he threw a bullpen, didn't like it, and they were in the video room for like 2 hours afterwards, and he's a guy that just got to the organization, and he was trying to connect with players in the beginning, but right away he knew what he wanted to do. Similar to Alex, like, hey, if we're going to play in October, we have to help, right? And he's been great. His preparation impresses me. Just has a good outing. Next day, he's working on the next one. He struggled twice. The next day, he was there getting ready for the next one. And that's what the good ones do. I know he's excited about tomorrow, and we are excited too. So it should be fun.
So this text to you was about the trip last night?
Yeah. Because we've been traveling comfortable for a while now because of the schedule and where we're going and all that. And I think they were together in the clubhouse when Mark sent the text that it's going to be comfortable. And he told the guys, no, we got to make it a business trip. So, yeah, they dress up yesterday.
Alex, Dan Roach from WBZ.
What's up, Dan?
How you doing?
Good.
I think Bregman's about to play in his 100th postseason game of his career. You talked a lot about him all year long. Now this next stage, how important is that experience? What can he do to kind of pass along what he knows to the rest of the group?
He's been talking about the postseason for a while now to the guys, and this is what he's done throughout his career. He's played meaningful games in October. Well, he's played meaningful games since 2017, right? He got called up in 16. They didn't make it, and then in 17, this is all he knows. So excited for the kid. This is a stage that he's been here since 17, battling with them, and happy that he's playing third base for us.
I was going to ask about Bregman, but Dan did such a good job. I guess I'll inquire about the roster and whether you guys have decided on anything there that had been up in the air.
Yeah, we haven't talked about it. Lucas, he's not going to be on the roster. He's been battling with his elbow the last few days, and today he went to see Dr. Dugas. So, hopefully it's nothing major, but he won't be ready for this one.
What does that mean for you guys in Game 3?
We'll go the first 2 games, and then we'll decide. Obviously, we got some kids over there that they have started lately, and but first things first, Crochet, Bello, and if we have to make a decision for Game 3, we'll go from there.
And just to clarify on Giolito, where is he geographically, did you say?
He's seeing Dr. Dugas.
Seeing Dr. Dugas.
Gotcha, yeah.
Yeah.
Alex, you shared your choice for left field with 2 lefties coming up. Would you like to further inform us about first, second, right, and DH?
I haven't talked to most of them about, how we're going to do it, but, it's probably going to be kind of like the similar lineup that we have. I just want to make sure JD knew. I think defense here in left field matters a lot, and he's done it before. They're good against lefties and righties, Fried and Rodon. So, go out there, battle, and hopefully, we get the line moving and we get them out of the game early.
Alex back here. 17-8 in the postseason is your record. What makes you most comfortable in October when the games get tight and the stakes get raised?
Good players. It's good players. They play well in October, especially. I mean, most of them are 1 year, right? But I think we did a good job in 21. the wildcard game, the Rays, and then, we were up 2-1 against Houston and just didn't happen after that. But, good players. At the end, they decide the games. We'll make decisions based on what we see as a group. We will be aggressive pitching-wise, and hopefully works out again.
Hey, Alex, through all the years you've been involved with this rivalry, is there one memory that stands out more than any others or any?
Xander's homer in 21, that was the loudest it's been in Fenway Park. That was electric, just the ball went out and the place went nuts. That's the one that really gets my attention.
In the Yankee Red Sox rivalry, in 18, as much was made with Judge and the boombox in New York, and the media and the fans. Was it an issue, or did it come up in rallying the team at all?
No, not at all.
What do you make of just the fan interplay back and forth between the two cities?
This is where we at, and with social media and so many platforms and so many shows, that's what they get, and they enjoy it.
Alex, just the whole trajectory of Narvaez this season, coming to spring training, probably the backup catcher, didn't really know, hadn't had much major league experience, just to see where he's gotten from then to now to kind of be a cornerstone of the team going into the playoffs.
Just a good player, a guy that he understands who he is. Was really good for a while there offensively, regressed a little bit. Connor started playing well, and we were able to take care of Carlos. And I know he was 0 for whatever before a double or the homer, whatever, but he's been swinging the bat a lot better. Defensively, he's really good. What they do here, the Yankees, behind the plate, is something that everybody knows that they're great at that. They had some good defensive catchers throughout the years, and Carlos is a product of their system, right? It just happened that they had so many that they needed to trade somebody, and it was him, and we got him. But Carlos, he's been able to slow it down too. The last week, he was a little frustrated offensively. He was able to breathe after those 2 big swings, but behind the plate, that's what we were looking for from him. Connor has been better too, but what he's done throughout the season is eye-opening.
When it comes to Lucas, was this something he was fighting through, or did it really?
I believe so. I believe he was fighting it. He was going to throw a bullpen during the week, and we had to, cut it short. Was he in play for the last game? Probably he was pushing that way, but after, Saturday, Sunday, he didn't look too good, especially yesterday, and that's the reason we sent him to see the doctor. And like I said, hopefully it's nothing major.
Is May here, or is he?
He's in Fort Myers.
Okay, so he's not gonna at all be in this series, like.
No. I think for us, there's no changes. No De Leon, no Giolito, and we go.
So who would be the candidates for that third game?
Like I said, we have some kids that started this week, and we'll see how the first 2 games go, and then we'll decide for if needed for game 3.
Alex, as somebody who played, coached, managed this game, what about Judge's season impresses you the most?
That everybody thought that he wasn't going to be able to do it because he didn't have Soto in the lineup, and he was the best hitter in the league. I mean, think about batting average. I know people, they don't value it, quote unquote, but he hit like 330 whatever when guys are hitting 240, right? I mean, that's special. And then he hits the ball out of the ballpark, and he's a good base runner. Obviously, a little bit banged up defensively, but he's really good out there. Just impressive, And early in the season, before we face him, I was watching. I'm like, man, this is tremendous. This is eye-opening, just because of the fact that Juan went to the Mets, and people were like, oh well, they're gonna pitch around him. He's not gonna get pitches to hit, whatever. No, he's that good.
Alex, you've seen the Yankees a lot this year, obviously, including just a couple of weeks ago. That said, both teams also have had advanced scouts on each other. What can that find? How can that influence a postseason series?
It's funny that you said that. I don't know. I really don't know because we don't know who we get in tomorrow, which lineup, right? They're probably going to match up with Garrett, right, with the righties, but who's going to play where, right? The last version of them at Fenway, it was a very athletic wise. They ran the base as well. They play good defense. They put some tough at-bats from the right-hand side, so we'll see. But, there's always something that might come up the last 2 weeks. Teams, especially they were pushing to win the division, so they had to play all the way till yesterday, right? So there was no hiding or avoid this because we're making it to October, right? Their goal was to win the division. So, we had guys following them for a while, and, you can pick something here and there, but we played the whole season. We just played a few weeks ago, so we know each other.
In 05, 07, you've had a bunch of postseasons with the Red Sox. Do you remember an instance of something from the advanced scouts, Dana, Langone, anyone that really influenced the course of a postseason? There was, the one that got my attention was in 07. Lackey pitch against us, right? In Anaheim, David took him deep, 3-2 breaking ball. So TC, he's walking it through it, this and that, sequences. And when the meeting was over, he goes to David, by the way, 3-2 count against Lackey, you're going to get a breaking ball. And he did. And he crushed it. I was like, oh, shoot, that was cool. That's a cool moment. Yeah.
Alex, back here again. You guys are really good on the road the last month of the season, 14 wins out of the last 20. What do you attribute that success to away from home? I don't know. I think we were like up and down early in the season, and then at the end we needed to win games, and the guys play well. That road trip, the last one, going to Tampa against a tough pitching staff, we play well. We were really good offensively. We won the first two, then we lost the third one. Toronto, same thing, play well. We didn't win the third one, but we felt good about it. It was 4-2 going into Fenway. But overall, I think we have played good baseball. When we didn't play good baseball, we stay playing 500 ball, which is what you want to do. But there's nothing that, we play in Sacramento, we play in Tampa. I don't know. There's nothing that gets my attention that we were better because of we play better defense or we just play good baseball.
Thank you, everyone.
We're good. Thank you.
All right, that was Alex Cora live. Garrett Crochet is going to sit down and talk in a couple moments. We'll hear from that, and we'll also react to the big news. Lucas Giolito not on the Wildcard roster because of an elbow issue. He's Game 3 starter TBA if they need him. Sox hoping to win 1. Bello in Game 2 as we continue. All right, we Red Sox coach Tim Hudson, a speedster himself, talking to Nate Eaton, David Hamilton, a couple of speedsters. Maybe you get both on the roster, and that's something. Usually, you have that one guy who can come off the bench, and one of them might start. You don't know, but you could have both of these guys on the bench, and that gives you two really impressive pinch running options.
Yeah, and with that, the way Alex Cora manages, especially in the postseason, very aggressive with the pitchers, but to have aggressive base runners to go out and be able to have those guys force the issues, make the defense and the pitchers go out there and make mistakes, that's exactly what those guys bring to the game.
Jarren Duran leading baseball in triples for the second straight year, but you wonder where he is in the lineup tomorrow. 0 for 10 with 5 strikeouts lifetime against Fried.
That's going to be interesting. You know, what happens in the short series is you have to make adjustments. And I got to believe Cora is going to sit there and say, as much faith as I have in him, the reality is he hasn't been successful. Maybe I slide him down and take a little pressure off him. You got to remember, it's a do-or-die situation.
And he's done that with him against lefties. Yeah. He's been as low as 7th in the lineup against lefties. All right, the big news, as you just heard from Alex Cora when he sat down and spoke to the media, Lucas Giolito will not be on the Wildcard roster, will not pitch in this series. That means Game 3 is wide open, probably Connolly early. You just said before, you might have Schlittler against Early, two guys who weren't even in the picture when the season began.
Well, it just also goes to show you how important your minor league depth is, how important it is to get guys ready, keep those guys ready. This year in Worcester, they did a lot of good things that got these guys ready to help the big league club, and Schlitter's been really good for the Yankees as well.
It's amazing going into the season, the amount of starting pitching depth that the Red Sox had that they just don't have right now. It's for whatever reason, injury, dealt, whatever the case. Now you're looking for starting pitching, and you're looking for them. Where are they?
And there's always a domino effect, right?
Yes.
That means now that Early's not available in the bullpen. And I think Game 2, you think about if Bello runs in trouble, that's the kind of guy who would have come in and get that bulk. Now it's Harrison. Now it's something else. Garrett Crochet, Game 1 starter, just sat down.
Far different role, far different. Wondering what you remember about those experiences, how it might impact you tomorrow night or inform your preparation, and how different is it getting ready as a Game 1 starter?
As far as what I remember, not a ton. Just remember how bad it sucks to lose. It was a completely different role, like you said, and now with my experience just as a player and as a starter, I'm just going to try my best to treat it as another start. You know, obviously the implications are a little bit bigger, but for me, there's no need to put any excess pressure on it. There's already a good lineup on the other side, so that's enough pressure as it is.
Garrett, could you have imagined being in this position a year ago?
Yeah, definitely. I think that I've always had a lot of self-belief, and I always wanted to be this guy that could throw Game 1 of a playoff series. So to be here now comes as no surprise.
Garrett, what is your earliest memory of a Yankee Red Sox game that maybe you watched, and just wonder what you took from it and if you ever envisioned yourself being in the middle of it?
Not really any memories, to be honest. I wish I could give you a better answer there, but you know, outside of watching the series on Netflix, I don't really have any memories of that.
Garrett, how much when you joined this team did you want to have an impact beyond the day that you pitched? That you would try to be one of the leaders, try to be somebody who could help out other guys, and do more for the team than just your 30 starts.
You know, it feels like we have 26 guys that feel the same way. Since day one, it seems like, as far as extending a helping hand and being a good teammate, that role has been carried on throughout the clubhouse. So I don't think that, I'm alone in that thought. I think that every player wants to be remembered as a great teammate, and I'm no stranger to that myself.
And Alex was telling us before that you decided that the team would dress up a little bit on their way to New York. What went into that, and why did you feel that was a good time to do it?
Yeah. I mean, I was telling the rookies when we were celebrating clinching, it's this could be the one time you get to do this as a major leaguer. So let's enjoy it and let's feel good about ourselves.
Garrett, Lucas has been such a big part of this team all year. Alex just told us he's having some elbow issues and won't be in the series. How much are you hoping everything's okay with him, and what's your concern level for your teammate?
Yeah, I think that we're all thinking about Lucas. There's never a good time for it, but this is a tough time for it. It's a big blow. He's a great arm, and I think that he strikes fear in opposing lineups. So we'll be missing him. He'll be in the dugout with us. So, and he's a great teammate and a guy that has a lot of experience. So I think that his mind will lend us a helping hand. But yeah, we'll be missing him for sure.
Garrett, in the back, what will your emotions be like when you step onto the mound for that first pitch coming up in Game 1? How much have you dreamed of this, and how much fun is it combined with business?
Yeah, it's fun. It's exciting. Hard to know what my emotions will be like until it happens. But right now, like I said, I'm just trying to treat it like it's another start. I've pitched here twice already this year and faced this lineup 4 times. I don't want to say it's comfortable because it's a tough opposing lineup, but there's a sense of comfort there and just knowing the faces that I'm going to be going up against. So for me, it's just taking it one pitch at a time and trying to get as deep into the ball game as I can.
With Giolito out, Alex Cora just said that some of those young pitchers might be candidates for that Wednesday game. What have you enjoyed most about seeing Early and Harrison? What makes them special? Obviously, Early has some really good swing and miss stuff. Like, what have you liked for them?
Yeah. Harry, I actually worked out with a couple off seasons ago down in Arizona. So I got familiar with him and his stuff, and have followed his big league career a little bit up until him joining us. And then as far as Early goes, the pitch ability is beyond his years, man. It's really good plus stuff. 5 pitches for strikes, and like you said, the swing and miss component. I think that he'll be a huge bolster to the staff here in the postseason.
Garrett, on sending the text to Alex about the attire, what is it about the dress that made you think that changes the mindset or affects it?
I don't think it's anything about the mindset. Like I said, it's this could be a once in a lifetime opportunity for some guys on this team. So I think that we should treat it with the dignity that it deserves.
Garrett, back here on your right. Your manager's 17-8 in the postseason here wearing a Red Sox jersey. What type of piece do you feel that adds to your team, outside of the field, outside of play? What type of weapon does he represent?
Yeah. With experience, I feel like you just continue to gain more and more composure in the situations that require it the most. Obviously, he won a ring here, and he knows what it takes. Bregman, Lowe, those guys know what it takes as well. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's on us as the players to get the job done. But he's put us in positions to succeed all year long, and I look forward to playing for him here in the postseason.
Garrett, in terms of years, you're not that much older than some of these rookie pitchers that we're talking about, but in terms of major league experience, you're years ahead of them. When you look at, being a rookie and your journey to get here, Game 1 starter, the rivalry, how would you describe that journey?
I was a product of a very fortunate circumstance when COVID hit, being on a team that was making a postseason push. So my major league experience was, I think a lot different than others, of course. Obviously I got a lot of time on the IL as well, so it's a little bit different. But for me, it was, I knew that I had the stuff to belong, and that's kind of what I see in Early. When Early came up, it was a sense of comfortability and who he was, not in a boisterous way where he's being loud in the clubhouse, but just more so in that he knows who he is. And I think that you could see that in Harrison as well. And in Tolle, he's definitely finding his way as he continues to integrate the curveball and the changeup and the off-speed offerings a little bit more into his arsenal. But I don't think it's all too different than these other guys. Everyone's got their own journey, and at the end of the day, it's when the lights come on, who are you going to be that day? I could go out there and suck, and all of a sudden my experience doesn't matter, and those guys could shine, and everyone may be shocked or surprised, but it's just who those guys are, and it's who I am. So I don't think that it's necessarily a black and white thing like that.
Garrett, along those lines, you've had your regular season routine, and you mentioned that you faced these guys numerous times. From a game planning standpoint, how are you going to go into this start? Will you lean back on that experience, or will you approach it with fresh new eyes?
No, I think that you're always citing previous at-bats. Like you said, 4 starts against these guys, so I have a lot of at-bats to cite. But for me, too, at the end of the day, it's what am I most confident in the moment. It could be a pitch I haven't thrown to a guy all year, but if I see an opening for it, I'm going to attack.
To that end, perhaps, what led to you throwing your sinker so often in September?
Cutter was getting hit a little bit. Four-seam command was a little spotty. Those are the negative components of it. And then on the flip side, I know that it's a really good pitch. You talk to guys about trying to cover 2 different heaters, let alone 3 if you're including my cutter as a fastball. And it's a tough task for any hitter to put up with. Especially when we're at Fenway with the short wall there in left field. I feel like the sinker's kind of just, when I would be behind in the count and I don't want a guy to pull it for a homer, I'm going to throw the sinker, and it's been very effective for me.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Garrett.
Thank you, guys.
All right, take a look at the Game 1 matchup. There it is. Garrett Crochet and Max Fried. Tell you a great stat that isn't on that. The Red Sox were 23-9 when Crochet started. The Yankees were 22-10 when Fried started. So these 2 guys take the mound. They usually pitch their way to a win for the team. That's going to break tomorrow. One of them is going to lose, or at least one of their teams is going to lose. We talked about, we'll hear from Max Fried in a little bit. We saw him earlier. When he spoke to the media, we got to watch it before we came on the air. And the first thing you said, he handles that pretty well. Garrett Crochet, for a young guy, man, he does this all pretty well, doesn't he?
I got to tell you, if you're the players are around these guys all the time in the front office, they know these guys. But if you're a fan and you're watching this, what a comfort from both. And under control they are, representing the clubhouse. You could see why guys grab.
And it just shows you what experience. 26 years old, has 5 years in them already. And they're right, he's not much older than these other guys as far as age, but as far as years and experience and dirt in his spikes, this guy is light years ahead, and that's why they're leaning on him, not only on the field, but clubhouse.
4 starts against the Yankees this year, 3-0. His ERA is good, but it's higher than it's about 3/4 of a run higher than what it was against everybody else. Gave up 5 home runs in 27 innings. We've talked about it. Yankees kind of an all-or-nothing lead. It'll come. Can you limit them to a couple solo home runs? If you can do that, you got a pretty good chance to win the game.
That's the thing. There's just not a lot of breathing. You see a big league lineup, there's maybe 3 guys that you can highlight and say, okay, I'm not letting these guys beat you. But throughout this lineup, the 9-hole, it doesn't matter. You hang something over the middle, they're going to go out there and do damage, especially in this ballpark with the short porch.
The flip side of that is 7 of the guys in their lineup have struck out over 100 times or more. So he does have that going for him. He has strikeout stuff. If this guy's on the way he can pitch, this is the kind of guy that can nullify that Yankee lineup.
Yankees have been very good over the second half of the season. Since the All-Star break, they are the best hitting team against lefties in all of baseball, which is interesting because they have so many lefties, but they've kind of figured out their, like the Red Sox have started there. Before Refsnyder, Gonzalez, those were occasional guys. Now, if you're facing a lefty, those guys are going to be in the lineup. I would be surprised if both are not in the lineup against Fried tomorrow. Red Sox have struggled against lefties. Since the All-Star break, they are 26th against left-handed pitching with WRC plus, an advanced stat, but 100 is league average. They are well below that. They only have 2 players above league average against lefties since the All-Star break, and one of those is Nick Sogard, who's got 13 plate appearances in that stretch. So they're going to have to buck the recent trend against one of the best lefties.
Yeah, you got to go out there and battle. Put together good at-bats, whether you win succeed or lose each at bat. They're good at bats. See as many pitches as possible. Try to get them tired. They're going to give you an outstanding start. But if you can get into this bullpen, this Yankee bullpen, if you look at the whole encompassing season, they haven't been good. They've been decent lately. But listen, go out there, put together good at bats. See if you can make him throw pitches. That's the key.
And I think one thing that we're not even bringing up is Cora is a good manager. He's a very adaptable manager. He's going to know what you just said, TC, and he's going to know he might have a hit and run. He may have a delay steal. In the past, he didn't. He's going to know the situation. I think advantage, managing-wise, goes to the Red Sox.
I think there's any doubt about that. The one concern, well, one concern, not the one concern if you're a Red Sox fan, Yankee team in baseball history to hit the postseason with a winning streak of 8 games or longer. They've won 8 in a row coming into the playoffs. And we talk about this all the time, right? Rule number 1 is you got to make it to the postseason. Rule number 2 is usually the team that is hot going into the playoffs carries that in the playoffs, and they are hot.
I'd like to say I totally buy that, but so many times teams I've been involved with have gone to the playoff. We went up 2-0 on the Yankees one year going back to Oakland with Barry Zito on the mound, and we lost the series. So the momentum, sometimes you want to say it's great, but all it takes is a good first inning by the Red Sox. Now they got momentum.
Eric Byrne touches home plate in 2003. Might be a
that
whole
was
different
Giambi's
story.
brother.
And there's your cooler right there. You want to cool somebody off. That's why you got your ace on.
And that's it, right? That's the old cliche. Your momentum's only as good as the starter you face next, and you're facing this guy tomorrow. You want to end an 8-game winning streak? That's the guy to do it.
Absolutely. You know, it's going to come down to hitting spots, just crushing a hot dog right there. I love the pre-game meal, the day before meal.
So it's funny, you know, Mike Berry, our managing editor, who does such a great job with all of us here, he always brings up in 2008, we had a shot before Game 7 against the Rays of Matt Garza walking in with a McDonald's bag. And everyone in the room was like, oh, like you just, oh my, this isn't bothering him. Like he's coming into pitch Game 7 eating a quarter pounder. Like it is, you know, I love the fact that Crochet is standing there crushing a hot dog at Yankee Stadium.
It's awesome.
Don't change. That's the thing. Do whatever got you there, right? Is that a pig eating a pig, or that's all
That
beef,
is a
right?
pig eating a pig. That's a great point by you. Pig on pig crime.
Pig eat a dog. We'll say
Mustard
that.
and ketchup. I approve of that, by the way.
There you go.
Some people are very anti-ketchup in these situations. As long as you have mustard with it, it's okay. Don't go ketchup alone. That's an affront against nature.
That's pretty awesome right there.
Now let's go stretch and throw.
That's what it's all about.
Hey, work for Babe Ruth.
19 more. That's great stuff. You can take a look at run support you talked about again. So, game like tomorrow, it's not about trying to score 7 runs a game. It's, to your point, JP, trying to scratch out a run or 2 early against Fried. And in really the case of both teams, can you get the pitch count up? Can you work the pitch count? Can you get that starter out of the game? Yankees bullpen has not been good. It's been better of late. Last dozen games have been better. Most of the season, it has not been good.
And one other thing to think about, Wells does not throw well behind the plate. So Cora is going to be aware of that as well. I would not be surprised if we see the Red Sox running a lot.
That's where the speed comes into effect. And when it comes to putting together good at-bats, you know, this is the Roman Anthony effect. Yes, he's not on the roster right now, but what did he do? Why was he so good with this team? Taking pitches out of the strike zone that were this close, right? You start, you know, swinging at those pitches, you're playing into Max Fried's plan. That's what he wants you to do. He wants to get to 2 strikes, and he wants you to chase and get out of there 3-4 pitches max. Don't fall into that trap.
Last time Max Fried faced the Red Sox was that series in September, a couple weeks ago, 105 pitches over 5 1/3. So they were able to work the pitch count. 9 hits in that game for the Red Sox. Again, damage, only 2 earned runs. Ultimately, Yankees winning that game, but they work it. They got him out.
And Fried knowing that, and knowing that that middle part of that bullpen is not real good, you wonder if he's going to be more in the zone, attacking early, try to get ahead of counts and not expanding so his pitch count doesn't get up. It's going to be interesting to see what his game plan is tomorrow.
A lot of playoff experience, 20 playoff appearances. Of course, he was with Atlanta for a long time. 12 of those 20 appearances were starts. He won a World Series back in 2021. Says he never wears the ring. Has never worn the ring.
That's crazy to me.
You were outraged.
Yes, I was. People ask me all the time, where do you wear your ring? And I'm like, well, the car wash the supermarket, only places that. But, I just saw him on the mound there doing pitcher's field practice, and it brings up a point, and you is right. He's got a pretty good move, a very good move, and you've got speed on the base pass, so he can only throw over there twice.
Right.
That third time, you need to be out there and putting pressure on him and the defense to see what you can do.
But that'll be a really fascinating thing, right? It's going to be the pitcher who tries to limit the running game because the catcher's not very good at it.
No,
Exactly.
and I think you're going to see Cora take advantage of that.
They do. They run. Even, Trevor Story has had a tremendous season. Masataka Yoshida with his perfect running form.
Coins in the pocket.
Perfect. You wonder who's the DH tomorrow. Is it Yoshida? He struggled against lefties. That might be a place to get Refsnyder in. If you keep Abreu and Rafaela in the outfield, which I assume you will because you want the defense out there.
Refsnyder's going to be in that lineup.
Yeah.
I mean, he crushes left-handers.
Right.
This is what you got him for.
And it might be Gonzalez at first base.
That would be my assumption. My question is who's going to play second base?
Nick Sogard has been pretty good against lefty. Very short sample against Mac, but he's been pretty good against Freeman.
And more of Hamilton.
Right.
So
and gives you good defense.
what I like about the Red Sox roster is a lot of flexibility to it, and Cora plays to that. And I think that's the advantage he has.
Yeah, I think this is not you're going to roll 9 guys out for
No.
3 games. You're going to see probably everybody. If it goes 3 games, you'll see everybody. Pinch hitting opportunities, pinch running.
Whereas the Yankees, you'll see a set lineup.
Right. It's interesting as you get to it. If you get to the bullpen, it'll be a different story. Red Sox bullpen has been terrific. Lowest ERA in the American League. Maybe something we haven't talked enough about. It begins with Chapman, obviously. Garrett Whitlock went in at the beginning and said, I'm a reliever now. Let's stop with the yo-yo. Just, he's got a contract with all kinds of incentives to be a starter. He said, I've been healthy as a reliever. I've been good as a reliever. Keep me in the bullpen. He's been the lockdown 8th inning guy, and now Slayton's in that mix with high leverage opportunities.
And this is another reason why you want Crochet to get deep tomorrow, right? Because you really don't know what you're going to get from Bello. You absolutely don't from Game 3. So if those guys get knocked out early, you need those arms to go out there.
The guy they have to hold back, now he's taken out as that long roll guy because he can give you 2 innings. He could actually give you 3 because he could turn that lineup over. So now the challenge is going to be who, if they need someone, becomes the long guy. Is it Tolley?
That would have been a really good weapon after Bello. You come in with a lefty who can go 3 innings maybe, and now if you had to get, because Bello's had trouble this month going deep into games, we'll see how that plays out. It's also going to factor into, again, can the Yankees get Crochet's pitch count up tomorrow just to get the bullpen going? Can you use up the bullpen a little bit tomorrow night? Because now you're starting to whittle away in Game 2 and Game 3.
The Yankees know that the Red Sox bullpen is a way of making those many pitches as possible, so you can kind of deplete that bullpen now. 2 games left, at least 1 game.
Yeah, I think for 1 game, but I think the strength is the bullpen, so that works in the Red Sox favor. If you get to the Yankee bullpen, that works in the Red Sox favor. So I think with the Red Sox, depth in the pen is a lot more sustainable than maybe the Yankees have.
No doubt about that. Red Sox done a good job. Bullpen, the man who put it all together, Craig, just spoke to the media on the field at Yankee Stadium. Let's listen in.
Yesterday or today? Yeah,
Today, okay. So when you'll know what's going on?
I'll connect with the medical staff and we'll continue to work through it, getting information in real time.
This is a guy who has had 2 Tommy Johns, one obviously a long time ago, but one not far in the recent past. I mean, how much of a specter is that hanging over, the uncertainty?
Yeah, obviously it's a factor. I think at this point, though, you just you feel for Gio, just given all that he's been through over the last couple of years and everything that he did to put himself in a position to help our team in the way that he has all season. So I think on a personal level, you just feel badly as a guy that did everything that he possibly could to help the team and kind of wants nothing more than to be able to help the team in the postseason.
What are kind of things that you guys, your medical staff, look at before you make a decision to send him to Alabama?
Yeah, I think, I'm certainly not the medical expert here and defer to our group, but try to assess just kind of the pattern of symptoms and the direction that things are headed. And obviously, anytime something's getting worse, especially if you haven't done a ton of activity or exertion, that raises a flag. And then, just trying to circle back with the doctors that have the most familiarity with the case. So I think that's kind of where we are.
You're not ruling them out kind of beyond
well,
this round?
I think at this point still just collecting information to figure out, and we'll make a decision from there.
When you make a trade like you did for Crochet last year, obviously The regular season's important. You got to get here. But how much of a move like that is done with a date like tomorrow night in mind, being a guy that you can ball to start a series and know and feel pretty good about it no matter who he's facing?
Sure, I think it's really hard to separate out those two things because for all of the reasons that just to get here, you feel super him the ball tomorrow. But certainly, what does it mean to be a bona fide ace? You think giving the ball to somebody in Game 1 playoff series and feeling as confident as you can, in their ability to go out and perform. So, see, the season has gone about as well as one could expect for Garrett, and I know he's super excited about taking the ball here tomorrow.
Psychologically and from a team confidence standpoint, what does it mean to the guys in the dugout in the clubhouse to know that you have somebody of that caliber opening the series?
Yeah, probably a better question for those in the dugout. They are, they're incredibly because they've seen what he was able to do all season and the way that he was able to carry us every 5 or 6 days. And, at least from our perspective in the office, they're another guy that we would want to hand the ball to start Game 1 of the postseason.
A lot of confidence in Garrett Crochet. A little more detail on Giolito. If you didn't hear earlier, he will not be on the wild card roster. An elbow issue, going to see an orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Jeffrey Dugas, in Alabama. So that's not just checking in with a doctor. That's concerns of a real elbow injury. We will keep tabs on that throughout the postseason. If that becomes a longer-term deal, nobody wants to think about the next round yet, but it becomes a bigger deal with each round, right? Best of 5, you need that third guy even more. Best of 7, you need him even more. If you want to win the World Series, you need depth of the rotation.
And not to be redundant, but that's why Crochet is so important, because if you get to a 7-game series, he can pitch Game 1, he can pitch Game 4, and on short rest, possibly Game 7. So the depth you lose, more onus falls on the starting pitcher.
I always point out, 2013, John Lester, John Lackey won 7 of their 11 postseason victories, right? So that's 2 guys can get you there if you lean on them and win the games they start.
Yeah, when you lose a guy like Giolito, I mean, this is a guy that posted all year. This is a guy that even when he didn't have his best stuff, he was scuffling out there, he still gave the Red Sox a chance to win. Even if he's going 4 2/3, 5 innings, he gave his team a chance to win every time out. And now you're having to rely on not only guys that don't have postseason experience, but not a ton of big league experience. And now the lights are a little brighter. You're in Yankee Stadium and their ballpark. So that comes into play as well.
Yeah, Connolly Early, we assume would be the Game 3 starter if they get to that, and Connolly Early came on and really impressed over 4 starts on the season. A pretty fun guy to watch because he has got 3 pitches in his last start. He throws them all as plus pitches. Second most strikeouts through the first 4 starts in the history of the Red Sox. 29 strikeouts, just 4 walks in Connolly Early's 19 1/3 innings pitched. But his 4 starts were against the Athletics, the Tampa Bay Rays, and the Detroit Tigers. Tigers probably the best lineup of the 4, but those aren't the New York Yankees.
Yeah, you got to give the A's a little bit of credit, though, right? They're not a bad offensive team, but this is a guy that goes out there. You mentioned it. He's got so many different pitches he can throw in any count. One of his starts, he had 7 strikeouts. I think it was on 4 different pitches. The payoff pitches were 4 different pitches. So guys were taking their bats back to the dugout, say, "Hey, it was a changeup for me. It's a slider for you. It's a fastball for you. It's a sweeper for you." So there's no pattern, and he trusts his stuff. I don't care where he's at. He tends to go out there and throw strikes.
The thing that impresses me the most about the kid, and I think why he would be my Game 3 starter, is he doesn't seem to get phased by too much. The moment's not too big for him. I think the adjustment he made was he was throwing his changeup way too early in AAA and trying to let that be his strikeout pitch all the time. When he started using his fastball and his breaking ball to set up the changeup became more effective. So he's got some aptitude on the mound. I don't think he's going to be phased by it. You get in that Game 3, maybe you only need the one guy I think right now is the best option for them in that start.
And again, all we know right now is that Giolito will not be on the wild card roster. Craig Breslow just said they're still in the information gathering phase, so they have not ruled him out for future rounds yet. But it doesn't sound good when you got a guy in Alabama having his elbow looked at.
Yeah. I mean, you could piece it together. Even if he does happen to need a cortisone or something like that, that's going to make him miss at least another round there.
And he hasn't thrown.
Exactly.
When these guys, as you know, Lenny, when you get out of that rhythm, it's hard to get back in that rhythm. And then you got to ramp it up and be in a playoff spot. What are you going to get out of them? Maybe 3, maybe 4 innings. So I think it's a little bit more alarming than they're leading on.
Red Sox with Jarren Duran in the cage right now, getting in their batting practice, their work at Yankee Stadium. We talked about that short portion, right? You know, I'll give him credit. Remember, Tampa Bay plays at George Steinbrenner Field the exact same dimensions as Yankee Stadium. And that home run that Jarren Duran hit to the top of the roof, right over the V in victory, over on the right side there at George M. Steinbrenner Field, was the most important home run of the year. They were losing in the 7th round, in the 7th inning. They were limping down to Tampa Bay, trying to hold on and finish it off. And they were losing with nothing going on. And once he hit that home run, you could feel that dugout exhale. They scored 7 runs in the next inning, and they've been on a roll ever since. They won 5 of the next 7 games. Sometimes one swing can flip the switch again.
And that's the type of player he is. He brings that excitement that he can electrify you with the bat. He can run the bases really well. He's probably the old-fashioned, you'd love to see a triple guy. That's the guy you want to see hit it. So he does a lot of things that can excite you, and you never know when this guy's going to take off. And like you said, that was a very important at-bat.
That was the most pivotal home run of the season. But at the end of the day, I don't want to see him shoot the ball that way. I want to see Jarren Duran take the ball to the opposite field. When he has that approach, yeah, he's going to get to some. He's going to get the barrel out. But he's a much better contact hitter when he's sitting back and driving it that opposite direction.
Especially against Fried.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, we'll see what happens. It'll be Garrett Crochet in Game 1. You just heard from him. Brian Bello gets the ball. In Game 2, historically, he's been very good against the New York Yankees. We'll hear from him as we continue. All right, ready to go here. Workouts before Game 1 of the Wildcard series. That's that swing I talked about. That's the one up on the right field porch. I know you don't want him to go there tomorrow, but that looked pretty good, didn't it?
It did look good. Yeah.
That could be a difference maker, no doubt about it. By the way, we heard from Craig Breslow a minute ago. Let's give him credit, because we love, New Englanders love to rip apart the general manager and the manager because they think they know better, and sometimes we do. But in this case, you know, they've been talking for years about this young group coming up. But in the offseason, you went out, you signed Chapman. Nobody thought that was going to be as important as it was. Remember, Liam Hendricks is supposed to be the closer of this team. Chapman wound up being one of the best in baseball. If you were in on Juan Soto, you pivoted quickly within a couple of days, made the trade for Garrett Crochet right after the Yankees got freed. And then it took a little longer and it took a weird contract, 3 years, $120 million, opt out after each one. But you got Bregman. you got the final piece, which led to Devers leading and all that. Craig Breslow did the job. He got the guys he needed to crystallize this.
Yeah, as a former front office executive, you always look at what other guys are doing and how they go about doing it. And, you know, we live in an area where you're never right. But I think Craig deserves a tip of the cap because they are not here without those three guys you just mentioned. He went out and got big league, talented, veteran players who have a track record. That's a big reason why they're at where they are. But they also, Narvaez, Gonzalez, even signing Eaton as a 6-year free agent. He's built the roster really well, and I think they've contributed through the season. So we got to tip our hat to him. I think he's done a good job this year.
Yeah, I think in a word, if you want to put it in one word, it's bold. He made some bold moves, and there really haven't been a lot of bold moves in the past few years. You know, you've got this young core. You got some veterans now to steer these guys in the right direction. The acquisitions and all this, the subtraction as well. Say what you will about Rafael Devers, whether he's a distraction or not in the clubhouse. He's a generational hitter. This is a guy, like we were talking, you want this guy in the lineup. But at the end of the day, the numbers speak to themselves as far as what the Red Sox has done since he went to the Giants.
And that's what Craig Breslow said, right? We're going to win more games than we would have otherwise after the trade.
They were one game above 500.
Yeah, I still are. I mean, Roman Anthony was called up a week before that, and I think that the record change was more about Roman Anthony because guess what? They were right about 500 after Anthony got hurt. The best run they had was the time Roman Anthony was here, not necessarily the time after that.
And I also think it's about culture as well. I think it was about culture. There's something to be said about culture in the clubhouse and saying, listen, this is who we are, this is who we're going to be, this is what we're about.
It got to a point where, you know, and I think both sides are culpable here. I think the Red Sox will tell you they didn't handle it as well as they should have in spring training. Certainly Rafael Devers didn't handle it as well after things got going. The fact that he ran out and played first base for the Giants sort of tells you.
You knew that was going to happen, though.
I look at it as a former player. That's the way I look at it. If I'm in that clubhouse, how would I react if our number one player, the face of the franchise, just basically to the media said no? How would I react to that? How would I feel about that clubhouse? I wouldn't feel great. I wouldn't. Plain and simple.
David Ortiz and Manny Ramirez said no a lot. You know what I mean? I mean, there's
not to that though.
But no, of course not. But I'm just saying, and I'm just saying there are different rules. You can always say there are different rules. Rafael Devers is treated differently than Nick Sogard. That's life.
Like
There's
Johnny
no
Oates
getting
told
around
Brad Onsberg when he was in camp with Texas, he goes, I'm treating Nolan Ryan different than all you other guys.
Right?
So
would Nolan Ryan do that though?
No,
he wouldn't.
Well, that's what you want, right? You want your top guys.
I want him running to Alex's office, say, "I'll play first base."
I think this goes deeper though than that, Lenny. And the reason I'm saying that is, players today are different. Certain players have to be treated a little different, and I think, like TC said, if the Red Sox had to do it all over again, I think they would have handled it different. I'm not saying they wouldn't have traded him.
Back at the beginning.
But I think they would have handled it a little different.
At spring trade.
Then if he says no, at that point
it's
you
on
said,
him.
Exactly.
If you did, yeah.
So,
and I think, again, I think that would have been, but in the end, to your point, Lenny, whether it was right or wrong, it was bold.
Yes.
And it turned out right because they're in the playoffs. The Giants aren't.
And you had to have a team that was willing to take the money on. And the Giants, from experience, I could tell you, you cannot get free agent hitters to go there. So it was the only way they could get a guy was to trade for him because it's where a lot of bats go to die.
No doubt about that. It'll be interesting, though, because they put on a run there. They faded with a couple weeks left, but the Giants seem to be pretty good. He played 163 games.
Hit a home run his last game.
Home run in his last game. And Jim Rice, the only Red Sox player ever to play 163 games in a season. He was the MVP in 1978. Looking at Duran, and again, it's all about game one, but Brian Bello is going to start in game two. Jemai Webster just caught up with him.
All right, thank you very much. Here with Brian Bello, Carlos Veloria doing the interpretation for us, and we just found out about Lucas dealing with an elbow issue. Just how big of a blow is it for the group, knowing what he meant all season?
Que nos acabamos de enterar que Gio está lidiando con algo en el codo, que tan duro es eso para el equipo en esta parte de la temporada.
Bueno, es bastante duro, ya que él ha sido una de las piezas más clave, una pieza clave para el equipo, nos ha ayudado muchísimo y es una de las partes por la razón de la que estamos aquí y creo que es un gran golpe para nosotros.
Yeah, he's a tough blow for us. Obviously, he's been a key part of what we've done this year and what we're trying to accomplish in the playoffs. So obviously, it's a tough blow for the team and for us.
as it relates to you. You got game 2. You'll be in a position to either extend the series or close this chapter in New York. How excited are you for the opportunity?
Que bueno que vas a pichar el juego número 2, que vas a tener la oportunidad o de extender la serie o ya terminar con la serie. ¿Qué tan emocionado te sientes de este nuevo capítulo en tu carrera?
Nada, súper emocionado, ya que este ha sido uno de los sueños míos lanzar unos playoffs. Me siento bien emocionado y ready para ir.
Yeah, I'm super happy, super excited. It's one of the dreams that I had when I was a kid to pitch in a playoff series in the postseason. So I'm ready and I'm happy to go for it.
2 starts ago, after your start against the Athletics, you spoke up to the guys, told them that it was going to be okay. You guys had what it takes to be a playoff team. How much more have you gotten comfortable in speaking up in spots and letting the team hear your voice?
Que después de la salida de contra los Atléticos, tú hablaste con los muchachos y le dijiste que todo iba a estar bien, que nosotros íbamos a clasificar. ¿Cómo te sientes ahora de hablar con todos los muchachos y de que ellos te escuchen y que tú puedas ser una voz para ellos?
Todo el año nos hemos estado dando ánimo. Cuando no lo hace JD, lo hace Trevor, cualquiera. En ese momento, como a mí me había ido mal en ese momento, pues me salió darle la motivación de que nosotros íbamos a ir a los playoffs para que los muchachos no se desmotivaran. Y me siento muy contento de que me escucharon, metimos manos, rompimos y estamos aquí, gracias a Dios.
Yeah, no, obviously, we love to cheer us up, and we love to support each other. So, that time was me, but it's been anyone at any certain time has been able to pump the team up. Obviously, after that tough start, I wanted to say a few words and just for encouragement to my teammates to say that we were gonna make it, and happily we were able to accomplish that goal, and now we go for the playoffs.
You've pitched well against these guys. Something about Yankee Stadium, it just does something for you. How much will you lean on that experience heading into this start, or do you look at it as maybe a clean slate?
Que has pichado muy bien aquí en Nueva York, que te ha ido muy bien, te gusta pichar aquí, que si todo ese éxito para esta salida que viene, todo ese éxito lo agarras, esa experiencia lo agarras o empiezas desde cero porque es unos playoffs.
No, seguimos con la misma experiencia, pues cada experiencia que vamos adquiriendo nos ayuda a mejorar. Seguimos mejorando, gracias a Dios, y gracias a eso, pues creo que vamos a seguir tomando eso para seguir mejorando en estas salidas.
No, we just keep building up. We just keep building up of the previous starts, and this is just another game. I need to just do my own thing and just don't worry about anything else.
Brian, gracias. Buena suerte.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love that when Jemai ends in Spanish and Brian ends in English. Freaky Friday here at the end. I'm not sure what's going on here. We get a little NESN reunion. I don't think they're really saying anything, though. I don't. I think they're just messing around. We're going to talk to Lou Merlone.
They're doing who's on first.
Now that he's done with Jemai Webster. That's next. All right, there's Lou Merlone getting to work, turning us up because he can't hear us. Steve De Silva out there shooting for us as we get ready to go. Live workout coverage as the Red Sox get ready to go. Lou, I sort of told everybody this morning, listen, I don't want to talk about anything but Game 1 today, but now I got to lead my question to you with Game 3 because Lucas Giolito is not on the roster. And no matter how you slice it, even if you win this series, and if he's not available for much more, that's a big blow to this team's hopes.
Yeah, it's not good. I mean, you've rode these three guys now for what seems like all year long. Your starting pitching depth that has been tested, we're beyond that now. I mean, you got a couple kids in early who I think is very impressive, who I think may get this Game 3 start. And then you got Harrison, and that's about it. Dustin May is still trying to make his way back. So I don't think you look forward to the next division series. I think you go to look at this one and say, well, let's ruin it for the Yankees. Let's get out of here, take this series, move on, and then just sort of battle this thing out, whether it's a bullpen game or what. It's just a situation you're in.
Hey, Lou, JP here. Just a quick question. Is there any inclination that it will be early as for the Game 3 starter if it gets to Game 3?
Yeah, no one's really committed to it. I always thought it was interesting how Garrett Crochet talked about early. I mean, he brought him up a couple of times about how impressive he was with the stuff. I mean, Cora, I think, has really just spoken very highly about him as far as how he slows everything down. To me, it's like Harrison is still a 3 or 4 inning guy, out of that bullpen, maybe a piggyback situation because the way Early's throwing the ball with the swing and miss stuff, especially here in this ballpark, I think that would play.
So one thing, if we are looking at Early as a potential Game 3 starter, that's a weapon out of the bullpen you don't have for Game 1 or 2, and that's the more tangible issue, right? You might have to cobble together some bullpen innings now without Connolly Early.
Yeah, and this is unfortunately just kind of where you're at with the injury to Giolito, and this is why I say, your depth is tested, right? Because Lucas, the last 4 or 5 outings has been a battle. He has looked like a guy that's sort of dealing with something. The location has been off. He's been good for about 4, and that's kind of what I was counting on him here. This is the playoff baseball. In the 5th inning, you start going to the pen. But you're right, now you just lost innings, and you're going to be stretched out here, and you're going to need some kids, some inexperienced people out of this bullpen to really put up some zeros in a very difficult park.
All right, Garrett Crochet on the mound in Game 1, Lou, and we know that that's what they got the guy for. You traded for an ace in the offseason, and the Red Sox have him on the mound in Game 1. There have been 12 of these 3-game wildcard series. All 12 have been won by the team that wins Game 1. So not to put too much on the line for tomorrow, but if history shows, you got to win Game 1 to win this series.
Yeah, it'll be his 5th time, facing this team, and whether that's advantage pitcher, advantage hitter. Personally, as a hitter, I like to see a guy more often, but listen, his last outing I thought was good. It's the long ball, which is what you fear from this Yankee team, especially in this ballpark. If he keeps the ball in the ballpark, he's going to win this game. The thing is, it's not just about Garrett Crochet. The guy on the other side, Max Fried, 19 wins. This is an ace as well. So you've got a couple guys going up against each other, and it comes down to the little things within a game, right? As far as getting ahead, the walks, you're going to give up a solo shot, make sure it's not a 2-run shot, 3-run shot. So this is going to be dialed up. When I played in 03 and it was like Pedro versus Clemens, I wanted to sleep over. I wanted to walk to the ballpark that day. You know what I mean? Like, this is kind of where we're approaching this one tomorrow with Crochet and Fried.
Lou, you got Crochet on the mound, you got your pig on the mound tomorrow, Bello in Game 2. Now that you're kind of unknown Game 3, how does this affect roster construction as far as keeping the number of pitchers on? Are you going to take 13 with you?
I think the way Cora spoke today, because they have 14 on there right now, he basically said De Leon, Giolito, and that's it. So everybody else is here, right? Which means Tolley, which means Harrison, which means everybody else that's out in that bullpen. And I think you're going to need some big innings from these guys. This is why all of a sudden the guys that are working out down in Florida right now become kind of important. Because if you do get past the first round, you guys know, something else kind of comes up, right? Bernardinos, the Mays, whoever it might be that could possibly get back here. But I think De Leon, Giolito are off this roster from the 14 you had the other day. And that's it. Now, the problem is Chris Murphy, right? I don't know how that plays into it. I know he's got to stay down because of the options. However, there is an injury. So, we have to see how that plays out. Maybe JP can answer that one a little bit better. I like the TC, JP, and LD you guys have going down back home.
Yeah, LM doesn't work. We'll just stick with Sweet Lou on that one. SL maybe for Sweet Lou. JP, what about that, right? If there is an injury, you can call him back up, correct?
You can definitely bring him back up.
Yeah, so that's a great point, Lou. I hadn't thought about that. Let's talk about the Red Sox against Fried before we let you go. They have not been as good against left-handed pitching over the second half of the season, and they don't get much better than Fried.
Yeah, and even Refsnyder was talking about he's dialing it up here lately. I mean, the velocity is like 97 and 99. The interesting thing will be this roster, right? What the lineup looks like against Fried. Now, the last time you played Fried at Fenway Park, you went 5 1/3, you got 9 hits off him. You made him grind, you made him work. That lineup had Romy at first, Sogard at second, and Eaton in right field. Now, it didn't involve Jarren Duran. Cora earlier said that Duran will be playing. I don't know how right field is going to be in play. Refsnyder, will it be in right? Will it be Eaton? Refsnyder DHing? Will Lowe be at first against lefties? You look at the numbers, they're not good. Does Nick Sogard get a start or Eaton at second base? That is going to be very interesting here tomorrow. That's the lineup they put out there last time they faced them in what was at the time a very important game.
No doubt. It's going to be interesting to say the least. I'm with you, by the way. I'm not going to sleep tonight. I can't wait for this thing. It is going to be electric. No. Lou, great to have you there. We'll check in with you tomorrow before Game 1.
Sounds good, boys. Enjoy it.
All right. Sweet Lou Merlone with the initials for everybody. I don't know how much bunting we'll see against Max Fried tomorrow, but
I didn't like that one.
Just in case. There you go. That's
Good
better. Let's keep this rolling till he drops a couple good ones down from Refsnyder. And the Red Sox getting ready to go. Let's get one more. Can we get one more in here before we go to break? We're going to hear from Rob Refsnyder. Jemai Webster spoke with him. That's next. All right, take a look at Rob Refsnyder. He is the certified lefty killer. Literally one of the best hitters against left-handed pitching in all of Major League Baseball over the last few years. And a team that will be facing one of the best in Max Fried will need all the help they can get. Jemai Webster spoke with the former Yankee, Rob Refsnyder.
Here you guys are starting the wild card on the road. Last month of the season, you guys have played really well. What do you attribute that to, and how much confidence does that give you going into this series?
Yeah, I mean, just having Crochet really, really helps. Just having that true ace on the mound and having a lot of swing and miss like he does. It helps, sometimes take the crowd out of it, not putting the ball in play as much. So Crochet, but I mean, our bullpen's been fantastic, and I don't know. We've been fortunate enough to play well on the road, and I think the group's pretty tight. We spend a lot of time together on the road, getting some dinners and breakfasts and coffees and things like that, and just talking about the game a lot. Attribute that to Bregman. Bregman's always pretty vocal, whether it's through text or in person. So just talking about the game a lot, and yeah. So I would probably say that.
There's a lot of guys in this clubhouse with a lot of postseason experience. You have some.
Yeah.
How much are you leaning on that, or do you look at this as a clean slate for you?
I would say clean slate. I think experience is great, but I think like leaning on each other and just having normal conversations throughout the game and before the game, after the game will help. Obviously, we've played in New York a bunch. We really know what to expect crowd-wise. They have fantastic fans, super passionate fan base, just like ours. It's going to be loud. It's going to be energetic. But it's it helps having guys like Bregman, who's had 7 or 8 seasons in the postseason. That'll help a lot. But I mean, if you don't know what to expect already for the next couple of games, you're probably in the wrong business. It's just going to be loud and energetic, and it's going to be just a great environment. And the Yankees fans bring it, and they're a great fan base, and hopefully our fans are able to travel and get some tickets and support us. But we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a great challenge, and 2 really, really good teams just competing.
If I was a betting man, I would bet that you'd be in the lineup tomorrow, if not getting a few at-bats at the very least. What are the keys against a pitcher of the caliber of Max Fried?
Yeah, like I was saying a little bit to some guys, his velocity's been kicking up. He's throwing 97, 98, 99. He's got a full repertoire of really good pitches. So we're in for a really, really big challenge. He can get you out in a lot of different ways. He can make you look really silly a lot of different ways, and he can just kind of blow some fastballs by you as well. So we'll do our homework, do the best we can of just preparing and kind of following along with the game. But if he's got everything going, it's gonna be a grind. So we're looking forward to it. Like I said, it's not a great day for the back of your baseball card at all. But you feel privileged and honored to be able to compete at this level against one of the best pitchers in the world. So we'll see what he's got going on, and kind of take it from there. It's hard game planning against somebody like this, just because he's got 4 or 5 different ways to approach it, kind of thing. So I think it helps that we'll be able to have those conversations throughout the game, and probably have some righties up the top of the lineup. So we'll see what he's got going on. If he's got everything going on, it's going to be might be a short game time-wise, but I would say short swings usually is the best thing against those guys. Not taking, you don't really know how many pitches you're going to get in the heart of the zone. Probably not too many. So I think sometimes when guys swing overly aggressive and they miss that one right over the heart of the plate, and then he can pitch the edges of the plate and get you to swing and miss, or just weak contact. So just nice short swings, and using the whole field helps. It'll help you stay on his curveball. His curveball is like 75, and his fastball gets up to 98, 99. So it's I'm sure they'll have the umpire cam, the catcher cam, or something like that to just show the fans how much of a challenge it is to stay between those 20-mile-per-hour ranges. It's a pretty big jump.
Well, I know you guys are looking forward to the challenge. Good luck in Game 1.
Hey, appreciate it.
Refsnyder, when he got called up to the major leagues, he was handed the phone by his minor league roommate, Aaron Judge. Not sure what happened to him. I think it worked out okay. Look at the playoff experience. Refsnyder, 1 game back with the Yankees, right? Alex Bregman, I mean, this is what you brought him in for. For position players, he has more playoff experience than everyone else in that clubhouse combined. He's been to the playoffs every year in the majors, and as he's quick to point out, every year in college and high school too. This is a guy who expects to be in the playoffs. He thrives in the playoffs. This is why you brought him to town.
And to put an exclamation point on that, where are the Houston Astros right now? They're going to be watching this from home. His first year
Their streak
removed.
has come to an end, right? Like, they were so good for so long. Take him out, not the same.
And the comfort he brings is able to calm people down. He's not going to change at bats or things like that, but he's just going to be able to say, take a deep breath, relax, stay within yourself.
Masataka Yoshida in the cage right now as workouts continue. That is a little bit of a tougher call. You're trying to get, I think, Refsnyder and Romy Gonzalez in the lineup. They are 2 of the top 10 in slugging percentage against lefties this season. By the way, Aaron Judge was number 1. But these 2 guys obviously have been a big part of Alex Cora's repertoire, his platoon, to line up against lefties, which means most likely either Abreu or Yoshida are going to be out of the lineup. Yoshida has been arguably their best hitter over the last week.
Yeah, but against lefties, and especially against a guy like Fried, it's going to be tough sailing. And you need all the righties you possibly can to load up in that lineup and possibly have those guys off the bench to be weapons versus the righties coming out of the bullpen late. But, if you want to get to Fried, don't get to 2 strikes, though. That's the key. Don't get to 2 strikes. Try to hit a mistake early. Get up on that plate. Force him to throw you a fastball and get the hands moving.
Well, the game within the game, right? So he realizes he's got to get deep in this game. I believe he's going to attack early in the zone. You tell your hitters to be aggressive early in the zone, chase the fastball early in the zone, and try to just make as much contact as you can.
It'll be interesting on both sides, right? Ahmed Rosario is 6 for 9 with a double against Crochet. He's got a home run in there as well. So don't be surprised if Ryan McMahon is out of the lineup tomorrow. Rosario's in. That's the thing about a 3-game series, right? You might give somebody a chance in a best of 7 series, but that win game 1 is everything.
Well, you look at Ben Rice, 8-something OPS, 20-something home runs. He's probably not going to play tomorrow. I guarantee you that they're going to put the guys that they feel are going to give them the best opportunity to win tomorrow. So I don't think tomorrow's a day of saying, hey, we feel good, you had a great year. I think they're going to put the guys that match up best with everybody.
Analytics come into play big time during a 3-game series. All right, what have you done versus this guy? We need those best guys, the best 9 in the lineup during this series.
Ben Rice averaged 60 points higher against righties, hit 3 times as many home runs against righties, different guy against lefties, let alone Garrett Crochet, right, who isn't just another lefty.
I just don't think you could have a lineup of Lowe, Shida, Abreu. You can't have 4 or 5 left-handers against Fried. You're kind of giving away 4 or 5 innings.
And if you're Max Fried and you see that lineup, you're like, thank you very much.
He can't wait to get to the park.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cedar Rafaela is on a hot streak, no doubt about that. He also, though, has had trouble against Max Fried this year. So we'll see how it all plays out as we're now, 26 hours away from first pitch at Yankee Stadium. Game 1 coming up tomorrow. Our coverage continuing after this. Say what you will about Aaron Boone, but he gets his team to the postseason. They've had 33 consecutive winning seasons. And you take a look at what they have done recently under Aaron Boone. Last year went to the World Series and lost. 22 they lost in the ALCS. 21 the one-game wildcard playoff at Fenway. 20 ALDS went 5 games. 19 ALCS went 6 games. 18 ALDS went 4 games. A strange note that I just read somewhere, they haven't won a postseason series against a team that wasn't from the AL Central in 13 years. Every playoff series win they've had in the last 13 years against a team from Central, usually Minnesota, by the way. They seem to run into Minnesota every year. Baltimore in 2012 was the last time they beat a team from the AL East or the AL West.
What's the over-under on how many innings Aaron's in the game? I'm going to say 4
yeah,
or
it's a
5.
playoff series. You got to stick it out. I don't know if you want to get tossed in the playoff series. Aaron Boone spoke to the media a little bit ago. Let's go back and hear what he had to say about Garrett Crochet facing the Yankees tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, an ace. You know, he's been one of the handful of, or even smaller than that, you can probably count on one hand the amount of guys he's in the running with in all of Major League Baseball for the season he's turned in for them. He's clearly become their ace and their horse, and from what I understand, been phenomenal behind the scenes too. And so, you know, they got themselves a good one.
You know, I guess kind of beyond the obvious, what makes him tough on the mound, you know, for when you guys see him?
Well, I think it's big stuff. Obviously, 100-mile-an-hour, the cutter, sweeper, change, you know. But then, you know, his size and deception that he creates. It's when if you threw a silhouette up there, there's no confusing who it is, you know. But I think with also having great stuff, there's really good deception in there that, you know, allows that stuff to really play, and then the ability to put the ball where he wants. Obviously, he gets a lot of chase too, but you know, the ability to first and foremost be able to be a strike thrower with that stuff, with that deception, puts him in a pretty good place.
And just how have you seen Judge kind of internalize, kind of get better from the past postseasons that he's had, where he hasn't necessarily carried over his regular season results?
I don't. How is he in?
Like how has he responded to it? How has he tried to use it to get better in subsequent postseasons?
Look, Aaron Judge is, you know, the greatest player going, and he's unbelievable day to day. Like, he's unbelievable at the grind. He's unbelievable at the routine, and he has an obsession too with always trying to get a little bit better wherever he can, and he's worked very hard at that year in and year out to where can I make little improvements in my game, and you know, that's adjustments at the plate, that's tightening up a routine, that's, you know, learning over the years how to do the daily grind a little bit better. So he's always, you know, looking to how can I get a little bit better, and I think a lot of the great ones do that.
Eric, you had one.
You've managed a bit over the years against Alex Cora. How would you describe him as a manager and preparing to face one of his teams?
A good one. I think he's really good. I think he, you know, he's they play the game within the game really well. You know, I think he's a really good leader. I think his team, you know, kind of embodies who he is, and I think he does a really good job of helping set and define the culture over there. That and obviously, you know, they've gone through a couple of tough years, but you know, he's always been the clear leader of that group, and you started to see it come together a little bit last year, I felt like, and now, you know, obviously this year, after, you know, a little bit of an uneven start, they've you know, they've really become obviously a very good team and one of the best teams in the league here the second half of the year. And but I think a lot of people saw it coming too, contrary to what, you know, I think he's played the little engine that could over there a little bit. I think a lot of people knew the Red Sox were coming this year. So, but I think he's one of the game's really good ones.
All right, take a look. They're good friends. You know, Cora and Boone worked together at ESPN before they both took these jobs, and they've known each other. Were you with them at ESPN?
Yeah.
So give us some dirt here.
They're both, you know, they're lifers. They're baseball lifers. They both, I think, understand the game from the grassroots. I think they're educated analytically, but have not lost their foundation. And I think that creativity that they bring from having the baseball background, think of the Boone family, like the Bell family, long history in the game. I think their baseball acumen is really, really good. They're both great guys. I can't pull for one of them because they're both friends, but great guys to be around, great guys as leaders, and there's something to be said about having that baseball mentality that you can take old school and blend it with new school.
That's the thing, being able to say, okay, this is the new school, there's a lot of analytics, there's a lot of information, the laptops are running rampant around the clubhouse. To be able to take that and also the old school eye test to walk around the clubhouse and see exactly how people are feeling, that's the Tito Francona effect. He did it every day.
Right.
He'd walk around, hey kid, how you feeling
And he's in the
today?
playoffs again.
Absolutely.
And you know, Lenny, as a player, it's so important to have a manager be able to pull you in every once in a while. How you doing? Don't worry about this. We know you're trying to do this. It's just that comfort level and the people skills and the baseball people skills that I think both these guys have.
And you talk about the pedigree that Boone has. Listen, Alex has his too with Joey. He looked up to Joey. I think he's 13 years older than him. Alex has been looking up and trying to mimic him for a long time. It's a baseball family.
I think the one thing they do really well, that they understand that this is a game played by individuals and people.
Yeah.
That's it.
Cora's great at it. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Learned a lot of it from Terry Francona, right? He talks about that all the time. That part of his daily routine is checking in with everybody on his roster. How you doing today? Right. You know, what's going on? And, you know, sometimes it's how the kids, you know, where's your wife? Is she going to make it in? And, you know, like knowing what's happening with your players builds the strong bond that you'll need when times get tough.
And even interacting with the media.
Yeah.
You know, it's not always about, hey, you asked me a question. It's a, hey, TC, how's it going?
Right.
You know, you like the way we're playing? You know, just you get that banter going. Just guys that have grown up in a clubhouse and been around the ballpark all the time.
I'll tell you a quick funny story, okay? Like earlier this season when they were on the West Coast, the first trip, I took the weekend off, or the week off. That was my vacation. They were in San Francisco, and I forget where else they went, but it was a bad trip. Right? They got swept by San Francisco? Is that how it ended? Whatever the case, whichever one it was,
It's right after the Devers trade.
Yeah, I think, right? So but it finished with 3 straight losses, ugly. And so I snarky little tweet put out there, maybe I'll just stay on vacation. You know, that's it. Yeah. I didn't say anything about the game. I just said, maybe I'll just stay on vacation. They have a day off Thursday. Friday, I'm on the field. Cora's walking by. He's like, hey, you're back? I was like, yeah, I thought you were going to stay on vacation. Doesn't miss anything.
He pays attention.
And then for like 3 weeks, every time I saw him, oh, yeah, no vacation, huh? No, yeah, just that little. I did that. He gave it back. Yeah. But you know, that's the connection, right? That is in a way. It's also defending his team, right? You took a little shot at us. Yeah. I'm going to give the shot back to you. You know, it takes a special guy to manage in New York or in Boston. These 2 guys have done a great job.
That's exactly right. I mean, you're under a microscope no matter what. If you're losing, the sky's falling, right? If you're winning, everything's great. You go out and win, everything is dandy, right? But then you got to go out there and win. That's the key.
And it's funny, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, what the expectations are, right? The Yankees went to the World Series last year. They lose this round, or even if they win a round and lose the next round, that's a disappointment to Yankee fans. Red Sox making the playoffs, I think by and large, you have to look at this with a young group as a good season. They win a round, I think it's a very good season, wherever it goes from there. Because the Red Sox feel that they're entering their championship run here, right? This is the beginning of the window of competing. Yankees been knocking on the door for a while. They've had trouble finishing out the deal.
And you know, you never know when you're going to win. Right. I mean, people could sit there and say, we're building toward this, we're building toward, but you never know. I mean, there's opportunities that pop up and you can win then. You got to take advantage of that. And you know, it's a credit to Boone. I know they're supposed to win, but they do win. So you have to take your hat off to them because there's a lot of other places that expect to win that don't win.
Go ask the people in Baltimore what they, right? They're 99 wins each of the last 2 years. They thought they were rolling. Well, Pittsburgh.
When's the last time they won?
They never win. But Baltimore thought it was the beginning of a 5-year run of going deep into the playoffs. 2 years didn't do much in either of those playoff runs, and now you're in last place.
Growing pains.
It can go fast. It can go fast, no doubt about it. This is 2 hours. It's going fast. We're going to continue, get you back to Yankee Stadium. There's Will Middlebrook standing by at the ready. He will join us with his in-depth. Now, this thing's going to go up his left nostril here if he doesn't stop. All right, there's Alex Bregman. Word is, Rob Bradford reporting that he came out separate from the rest of the team because he's feeling under the weather. Not ideal, although there's a lot of examples in history where guys not feeling that good play great because you're just kind of locked in. Alex Cora spoke about Bregman earlier today.
He's been talking about the postseason for a while now to the guys, and this is what he's done throughout his career. He's played meaningful games in October. Well, he's played meaningful games since 2017, right? He got called up in 16. They didn't make it, and then in 17, this is all he knows. So excited for the kid. This is a stage that he's been here since 17, battling with them, and happy that he's playing third base for us.
Well, this is what they brought him in for. This is why we're bringing Will Middlebrooks in from Yankee Stadium to tell us more about Alex Bregman. The guy, he said it, right? Go back to day one. I'm a winning player. This is a winning organization. I'm here to win. Well, they won. They're in the playoffs. This is why Bregman is here.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be his 100th postseason game. That's pretty crazy to think about. He's played that many. Thinking back on his career, to me, it doesn't feel like he's been around that long until you really break into the baseball reference page and realize he's been around for a while and how successful he's been and how he's been in the postseason every year, which we talk about that all the time, about how he signed and he's a winner and we're going him here to go to the postseason. I think we all believe him now.
Will, let's talk about a guy with one playoff game, Rob Refsnyder. Talk about the lefty killers, right? How are we going to go out there with the roster construction against a guy like Max Fried? What do you think Alex is going to do?
Yeah, well, AC said Duran's in there, right? And we don't know much about the rest of the roster, but you have to think the last time they faced him, they had 9 hits against him. Romy was playing first. Sogard was at second. I don't know if we're rolling Sogard out there or not. We'll find that out tomorrow. But you got to think Nate Eaton's going to be out there as well. But it all starts with Refsnyder and Romy and Trevor and Bregman and these righties that have so much success against left-handed pitching, especially in a park like this. And interesting enough, I know Bregman was brought to Fenway to pull the ball in the air, which he does really successfully a lot. But if you look at his last week or so of games, he's been driving the ball to right field, and not a great place to do it at Fenway Park, but he's been hitting the ball hard the other way, which is going to play really well here. And I talked to Refsnyder a little bit earlier about Fried, and he said, it's a fun at bat because I get to compete, and I know how he's going to attack me, but the last time we faced him, he's a lot tougher when he's 97 to 99. Normally he's 94, 96, but the last time they faced him at Fenway Park, his velo was way up, and that makes him way tougher.
6-0 with a 1.55 ERA over his last 7 starts. That's a stretch that began with his 6 scoreless against the Red Sox. He really has cranked it up here down the stretch. So you wonder, Will, if you're getting Refsnyder, if you're getting Gonzalez in, that probably means what? Either Abreu or Yoshida probably is out, right? How do you think they've handled this tomorrow?
I wouldn't be surprised if even as well as Moss has been swinging the bat if he doesn't start the game. I think you have to play your best shot here, your best lineup, and that would mean probably Refsnyder DH. I think Nate Eaton, they like his defense, so he would be in right field. And then as this game progresses, Alex is going to be really quick. We know that, to make moves and make changes and pinch hit guys. We're going to see that with the pitching staff also. Probably not Crochet. They're going to ride their ace as long as possible. Brian Bello's been good here. But there's going to be pinch hit opportunities, you hope, by the 5th or 6th inning if they can get that pitch count up. But don't be surprised if you see Nate Eaton, Romy, obviously. I don't think you're going to see Willier, maybe not even Massa in this first game.
Hey, Will, this is JP. Quick question for you. It looks like they're loosey-goosey. How's the mood of the club?
That's great. They're excited. There's a lot of youth here and experience, but they have the resources and the opportunity to be with guys like Alex Bregman and Trevor Story and now Nathaniel Lowe, who won a World Series with Texas. Obviously, we've hit on that a few times, but it's so important to have guys that have been in these big games and been in these games and where they have been early in their careers and they felt that heart rate go up, and be able to tell these guys, hey, you're going to feel this. It's okay. Get past it. Focus on the task at hand. So I was lucky in 2013. We get into those important games in September. You get into October, and I had the David Ortiz's, the Jake Peavy's, the Dustin Pedroia's. These guys have all been there, done that. It's so comforting as a young player to have those guys to lean on and kind of talk you through the daily process of everything.
Well, we began with the news that Giolito is not on the Wildcard roster, and then just before we came to you, we saw that Rob Bradford reported Bregman feeling under the weather, came out separately from the rest of the team. Do you know anything about that? Is something going through the clubhouse right now?
I don't know a whole lot on that right now, but Bregman was out here and he was laughing and smiling, and Veritek was, as soon as he walked out, yelling, "Go in the outfield, get away from us!" And they apparently he had a car ride here. He didn't even fly here. He had a car service and left around noon from Fenway and got here pretty quick, it seems. But he seemed like he's in good spirits. That's all I can tell you. He looks like he's ready to go.
Yeah, there's the patented smirk on his face. He looks just fine right now, like you said, laughing. And we said it before. How many times have we seen over the years a guy not feeling well goes out and has the best game of his life because he's just sort of got tunnel vision. He's stripping it back. Giolito, real quickly, let's follow up on that before we let you go, Will. I don't want to talk about Game 3. If you get there, you get there and worry about it then. But Connolly early not available out of the bullpen kind of changes the dynamic for Alex Cora, right?
Well, it does, and Giolito not being on that roster means it's going to probably be all three of those lefties with Tolley, Harrison, and then obviously early if you get to Game 3. If you do get to Game 3 and he makes that start, he probably faces a lineup 2 times through, and then you're able to go to like a Weissert, Kelly, mid-innings after that, force the Yankees to bring their left-handed bats into the game, and then you can go to your Matts and Wilsons and obviously Chapman at the end to play that matchup. So it can match up well, and I wouldn't expect him to go more than probably 4 innings in that.
All right, Will, good luck. Enjoy it down there. Tell Bobby Swan to keep that camera out of your face. He almost knocked you over on that tease prior to this.
All right, that was Ben Johnson. We'll blame him.
Oh, Ben Johnson. Okay, that was extreme close-up from Ben Johnson. All right, good stuff, Will.
It makes way more sense now, doesn't it?
Stay safe, guys. It does make sense here. But this is the shot of the day. Thanks, Will. Garrett Crochet eating the hot dog just a little bit ago. I don't know if he's trying to offer some of it to Rob Bradford there. But not a care in the world. Game 1 starter.
That's awesome.
Crushing
It's so awesome.
A hot dog. Love it. Game 1 starter, Garrett Crochet, as we get you ready for that game tomorrow night. Stay with us as our coverage of the workout continues after this. I see Carlos Narvaez in the cage. No doubt he'll be your Game 1 starter behind the plate. Narvaez hitting .241 on the season. Put together a year that really made a big difference for the Red Sox. 15 homers, 50 runs batted in, handled the pitching staff well throughout. A great number of stolen base attempts, and they got him in a trade with the New York Yankees. Now he makes his first playoff appearance at Yankee Stadium against those Yankees. He spoke to the media about it in the clubhouse.
it's a beast, bro. They know what we're gonna do, and we know what we're gonna do too. So it's gonna be a lot of strengths. More than happy, to see that guy competing at this level and in that stage. But I think it's gonna be an ace like he always do. So we gotta be ready. We gotta step ahead because they know what we're gonna do. So it's gonna be a strength by strength.
And you know better than anyone about this rivalry.
Yeah. I know those guys pretty good, but like I say, they know me. They know me how I like to call games, and they know what the strength for Garrett is. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be a really good matchup.
The opposite end of that spectrum, what are the keys that you guys need to focus on when facing a guy at the caliber of Max Fried?
Yeah, we got to play a game. We got to find guys on bases. I mean, he's an elite pitcher too. He's gonna nibble the strike zone. He's gonna attack inside. He's gonna expand away. So we gotta stay in our course, play our game, play the little game. You know what I mean? If he's man on bases, man on second, trying to move to third, trying to score that room. Like any chance we gotta cash in. That gotta be our mentality.
How much does playing well here in the regular season instill confidence in this group in this next phase?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we've been through a lot of things. You know what I mean? I think we're more than together right now. Everything we went through in the season, I think, prepare us to be in this position.
You guys have been really good on the road the last month of the season. Any reason, for that?
No, probably we understand the moment that we got last month. We got every game was very important for us. We always say Fenway is always special, not playing from our fan base, but we understand the last month was really, really crucial for us. Like I said, probably, I don't know, that was our mentality.
All right, so here you go. Red Sox lineup. Garrett Crochet in Game 1. Brian Bello in Game 2. A combined 5-1 in 7 starts against the Yankees this season. Crochet 3.29 ERA. Bello 1.89 ERA. The 39 strikeout to 4 walk ratio is what impresses you with Crochet, right? Because it goes back to what we said near the top of this. They're going to hit home runs, but if you can keep them to solo home runs, you got a good chance of beating the Yankees.
Yeah, that just shows you he's got the ability to command in and outside the strike zone. He's gotten to strike 2 very, very frequently. When he can do that, he's got multiple pitches he can get swing and miss on above the strike zone and down and in versus those righties especially.
And the other thing is it's a strikeout lineup. So sometimes those strikeouts just bunch up, and that's what you want to get, and he's got strikeout stuff.
So he takes the ball in Game 1. We'll worry about Bello for Game 2 because it is, we said, 12-0. Teams that win Game 1 in this best-of-3 series have won every single one of the series over the last 3 years.
And you look at the numbers, though, I tell you what, he's been outstanding, especially against the Yankees. He has gotten a little bit tired and fatigued throughout this season, but you can hopefully, go out there and dig deep in a playoff scenario like this.
But it's been a rough September for him, no doubt
about it.
It
has, for sure.
Well, once again, the thing in the favor for the Red Sox, the bullpen is strong. So Cora's going to notice. He's not going to let it go too long, and he's going to go to his bullpen.
Jose De Leon yesterday gave that bullpen a rest. They get today off, and if Crochet goes deep tomorrow, you can come into Game 2 with Bello saying, you know what, any signs of problems, we go right to the bullpen. 3rd inning, 4th inning, doesn't matter.
Yeah, Bello gets knocked out early. De Leon's the hero of this series. I mean, for what he did, the rest that he was able to afford this bullpen for sure.
By the way, real quick, want to throw this out there. I just got a note from Major League Baseball Communications. For the 3rd straight year, Major League Baseball has had a growth in attendance. Over 71,400,000 fans. That hasn't happened since 2017. So, the pitch timer, some of the things they have done has really made this a better product for fans to watch. I think the 3, I know people get the fraudulent 3rd wild card, but that just puts it in line with other sports. You got 6 in each league, 12 teams making it. The Red Sox haven't been part of this. It's the first time the Red Sox play under this 3 wild card system, so this is going to be great.
And that's baseball, right? It's a 162-game schedule. Any team can beat another team in any one-game playoff. So I think just shows you what type of game baseball is in general. It needs to be more than one game.
I think it's great. I wish they had it when I was the GM.
Yeah, you made a few. You go back and look at it, move that line down.
I have looked at
it. You wouldn't be sitting here with us right now. You'd be getting ready for a playoff game. All right, Soxtober coming your way. Don't forget, pre-game coverage before every playoff game. 5 o'clock tomorrow night. Jonathan Papelbon's flying up because that's how big it is. Rice, Pap, Lenny and I will be here. JP will be checking in with you throughout the playoffs. It was fun, guys. Let's get this thing going. Get some sleep tonight. The playoffs begin tomorrow.